don't have a marketing problem. You don't have a sales problem. You have an identity problem wearing a strategy mask. And no amount of strategy will ever fix what is fundamentally an identity issue. Video, we're going to talk about why you self-sabotage at 6 and 7 figures. You've watched it happen. You finally hit the number and the launch lands, the client sign, and the breakthrough month shows up. And then, out of nowhere, something breaks. A team member quits, you get sick, a deal falls through, you miss the obvious. Your subconscious just dragged you back to where it thinks you belong. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the 3 hidden income set points every entrepreneur runs without even knowing it. Why your lowest one is the ceiling you keep hitting, and the one reason strategy alone will never break through. The 3rd set point is the one almost no one talks about, so stay with me until the end. I'm Jeff Faldolan. I help high-performing entrepreneurs break through the invisible ceilings their conscious mind can't even see, using hypnosis, subconscious clearing, and identity work that gets to the root in weeks, not years. So if this is the kind of work that speaks to you, speaks to something deeper in you, hit the subscribe. I drop new videos every week on the inner game of high-level success. Smash like if this is already landing, and in the comments below, tell me one thing. What's the highest revenue number you've ever hit? And what happened 90 days after? That answer is going to mean a lot more by the end of this video. 3 things on the table today. 1, the familiarity trap. Why self-sabotage feels logical to your brain even when it's destroying your business. 2, the 3 subconscious set points, safety, deservingness, and the 3rd one, the one most coaches never address, that one is quietly runs the entrepreneur ceiling. 3, why your business doesn't actually have a marketing problem or sales problem or strategy problem. It has an identity problem wearing a strategy mask. And that's the only way through. Your subconscious is not wired for success. I know, it's wired for safety. Just the subconscious success that exceeds your current self-image registers a threat, not opportunity, which means the moment your business outpaces your internal identity, your mind starts working against you. Here's the mechanism. Your subconscious has one primary job, survival. And to your subconscious, survival means keeping this person in the version of reality that has historically been safe. Anything outside of reality, even if it's better, gets flagged as danger. So when your business takes a leap, when you sign a client that doubles your monthly revenue, or when you launch and it actually works, when you step on a stage you've never stood on before, your subconscious doesn't celebrate, it activates. It starts looking for ways to bring reality back to familiar, even if familiar means broke, even if familiar means stuck. Because the subconscious, familiar is safe and new is unproven. So let me give you an example of what this looks like. I worked with a woman who, by every external measure, was at the top of her industry. She had built 3 spa businesses, one of them in a major high-end ski resort, and she was the entrepreneur who created the online gift card system for the entire spa industry. She had invented a piece of infrastructure her whole industry was using. On paper, she made it. Underneath the paper, something else was happening. She married a doctor she believed would support her. She trusted him with the business. He ended up being someone she had to buy. She got into another partnership after that. She had to buy that one out too, then another and another. She kept attracting partners who took from her, friends who drained her, relationships that consumed what she had built. And here's the part that matters. She wasn't losing the businesses because she was a bad operator. She was one of the best in the country. She was losing pieces of what she had built quietly, repeatedly, year after year. Her subconscious would not let her hold on to what she was creating. Her identity had never been programmed to keep. Every time she built something, the system found a way to give it away to a partner, to a friend, to a relationship, to anyone she could hand it to so she didn't have to hold it herself. That's not bad luck. That's not poor judgment. That's the subconscious doing exactly what it had been wired to do since childhood. Keep her familiar, even when familiar meant losing what she had earned. Self-sabotage doesn't feel like sabotage from the inside. It feels like life, like circumstances, like timing, like the team, like the market. It dresses itself up as everything except what it actually is, which is the immune system of an old identity, quietly defending itself against the new reality your business has dared to create. And until you upgrade that identity, the immune system keeps doing its job. Now, that's how it happens. But what triggers the immune response in the first place? There are 3 specific set points that decide where your ceiling lives. Most coaching only addresses one of them, which is exactly why most entrepreneurs keep hitting the same wall. So here's the 3 set points. Every entrepreneur has 3 subconscious set points, 3 internal thermostats, and the lowest of the 3 becomes your ceiling. Set point number 1, safety. The unconscious answers to the question, is this much money safe to have? If you grew up in chaos around money, feast or famine, fights about money, the quiet shame of not enough, your safety set point may be locked at a number much lower than your goal. And every time you approach it, your nervous system reads that number itself as a threat. Set point number 2, deservedness. The unconscious answer to, did I earn this? This one is loud in overgivers. An entrepreneur is raised to believe that worth is performance, that they can hit the number, but the moment the money lands without an obvious exchange for suffering for it, the subconscious quietly hands it back through bad investments, through unnecessary spending, through deals that fall apart. The set point number 3 is the one almost nobody talks about, worthiness. The unconscious answer to, am I the kind of person who has this? Safety asks if it's safe. Deservedness asks if it was earned. Worthiness asks something deeper. Do I belong here? So I'll tell you about a client this showed up in. He was a high performer in the information product space. First time he came to me, he was living in the basement of a house in a deeply toxic relationship. He had a pattern I'd seen before. He had built a business that a few years earlier had generated $750,000. Then it dropped all the way down to 50,000, 60,000. So he'd build it back up. Then it dropped again, up and down, the same cycle over and over. We went into the subconscious work and went all the way back, and we found the decision he made as a child. See, his father was an entrepreneur. And as a kid, he watched his father give everything to the business, the hours, the attention, the presence. And somewhere in that childhood, in theta, with no filter, he had made a decision. Money is more important than me, because his dad chose money over him. And that decision became the operating system of his entire adult life. He would attract the money, and then, because the subconscious doesn't allow a person to be in proximity to something it's decided is more important than they are, he would push it away. Bad decisions, lost deals, pricing himself wrong, trusting the wrong partners, letting the business collapse so he could rebuild it from scratch. It wasn't a strategy failing him. It was a 6-year-old's logic running a 40-year-old's business. Money is more important than me. So every time he got close to money, real close, the kind of close where wealth becomes structural, the system pushed it away. Here's why this matters. If your goal is $2 million, but your safety set point is comfortable at $300,000, every time you approach $1 million, you'll find a way to break it. If your deservedness set point says you have to suffer to earn, every time money comes easily, you'll find a way to make it harder. And if your worthiness set point says people like me don't have that, or I'm not the kind of person who gets to keep that, you'll never get past the threshold no matter how good your strategy is. See, most coaching addresses 1, maybe 2. The third one, worthiness, is usually the lowest, which means it's usually the one running your life. And here's the order most entrepreneurs get wrong. They think that sequence is strategy first, identity follows. Hit the number, the identity will catch up. That actual sequence is the opposite. See, identity's first and then strategy follows. When you upgrade the identity at the subconscious level, when you raise the lowest set point, the strategy you have already suddenly starts working. Not because it changed, because you did. The same offer, the same funnel, the same content, different ceiling. Because you're no longer unconsciously throttling the system to keep yourself familiar. Let me show you exactly what that looks like. I work with a client who started his career as an internet marketer. Smart guy, but he had a wall he kept running into. Every time he stepped into something bigger, every time he was about to become more visible, more in charge, more standing in his power, something would pull him back. When we did the subconscious work, we found the root. His father abandoned him as a child. He was raised by his grandmother. In the wiring of his nervous system, a decision had been installed. If I step into my greatness, I'll be abandoned. So every time he got close to his greatness, his system would create a reason to pull back, to stay small, to stay safe, to stay where abandon couldn't reach him. We did the work to clear that decision at the subconscious level, to install a new identity at the depth where the old one had been programmed. Same man, same intelligence, same drive, different operating system underneath it all. Within a relatively short window of time after that work, he transitioned out of internet marketing and into restaurant industry. Became the CEO of a restaurant company. He opened one location, then another, and within a short period, he had 7 restaurants operating. He got recognized as one of the top up-and-coming entrepreneurs in the entire restaurant industry. His company now does millions of dollars in revenue. And here's what I want you to notice. He didn't change his strategy. He didn't suddenly become smarter. He didn't get lucky. He cleared the subconscious decision that had been quietly limiting every move he had ever made. The man who had been spinning his wheels became the man who could build 7 restaurants and still be standing. Same brain, same body, totally different ceiling. You don't need a better business. You need a version of you who can hold the business you already have. The next level after that. Most entrepreneurs spend years optimizing the wrong layer. They tweak the funnel, they redesign the offer, they hire the next coach, and underneath all of it, the lowest set point stays exactly where it is. The breakthrough isn't outside. It's the moment you raise the floor of who you believe you are allowed to be. Once that shifts, the strategy you already have starts working in ways it never did before. Not because it's new, because you are. So here's the question I want you to sit with this week. Out of the 3 set points, safety, deservedness, and worthiness, which one feels the lowest for you right now? Don't think about it, just feel it. The one that comes up is the answer. That's your ceiling. That's where the work is. That's where the next chapter of your business is waiting. Drop it in the comments, just the word, safety, deservedness, or worthiness. Sometimes naming the place out loud is where the actual movement begins. And remember, live like your life depends on it, because it does.